Let's get it.
Alright, guys, welcome to the Whispers of Unbridled Spirit. My name is Mallory.
And this is Kayla. We're super excited to tell you guys a story today. We've actually had it for quite a while. We recorded about an hour-long podcast, and we lost it. We went to go edit it, and it was gone. I think we just figured out, though, that the batteries were dying. I guess it would, turn on for a short period of time, and then kind of go dead.
I don't know, we have a lot of weird stuff happening lately.
I feel like only 2 episodes and one only being an intro, it should not have died already. But whatever, that's just my opinion. Kind of weird.
Yeah, but we have a good one. So today we're going to be talking about UFOs. And Kayla actually is more aware of the story than I am. I'm going to help talk about it, but she can let you in on the intro of it.
Yeah, so this was mailed to us in the early stages of our podcast by somebody, by a family friend. Her name is Anita, but everybody calls her Mimi because she's everyone's grandma. She's one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met. There's nothing that she wouldn't do for you, and she's a really cool one. So thank you, Mimi, for sending this in. And she was actually a coworker of my mom's several years ago. And this actually featured on the front page of the Spencer County Leader, August 23rd, 2022, if anyone's interested in looking that up. But yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Alright, the title is What Is It? So this occurred in Tell City, Indiana, Saturday night, February 10th, 2001 at 9 p.m. My husband had gone to bed early. I was watching TV. He yelled at me to come and look at all the planes going by. I went into his bedroom, saw no planes out of the north window. But out of the west window, a bright star caught my eye. I don't know why. I kept looking at it, but it seemed to spin, then get dimmer, then brighter. I picked up my video camera as the star began to move, twist, and spin. I could not believe my eyes. My husband looked at it and proclaimed that it was Russia's spaceship Mir, and that it was the astronauts were having a hard time controlling it. Feeling satisfied that he had correctly identified it, it was very hard to get him to sit up in bed and witness its gyrating movements. I was shocked beyond belief when all at once a bright star turned into a silver disc. For a few seconds, I got a detailed view of it. Also, it was much better than the camera filmed it. It was a round silver ball. A portion of the bottom of the ball or disc was flat. There were 2 raised lines through the middle of the disc and ran horizontal across the ball. There was a raised circle in the middle of the disc and an emblem or object inside the circle. There were markings or it appeared hieroglyphics and a semicircle across the top and bottom of the disc. The disc as a whole was not smooth. It looked like a piece of tin that someone had battered from behind with a sledgehammer. The camera did not pick up the lines or the markings, but I distinctly saw them. Orange and red lights appeared. I could see flashes of light out of the corner of my eye, and when I looked into the yard, the lights were not orange and yellow and white lights I was filming in the sky, but brilliant bluish white lights, very bright. I was very confused as to what was taking place. The disc again appeared. It seemed to have a bright side and a dark side. Either that or it had the power to transform into either one. It would appear for a few seconds, and then a jagged streak of light would start at the bottom of the disc and would work its way up diagonally until the disc had disappeared. Eventually, it went straight up and out of sight at 10:15. I quit looking for it and went to bed. I was exhausted. I could not sleep that night. I had almost convinced myself that I had been hallucinating. I got up in the middle of the night and put my video on TV. I was trying to convince myself that I had not lost my mind. The next day, my husband was quiet and uneasy about the film. I told him if he had a problem with me telling anyone about it, I would throw it away and forget about it. I don't think I could have ever done that, but he was only concerned about what people would say about me, which was not a problem with me. After we had talked about it, I knew I could pursue it, but not involve him. I had sat down the night before and wrote down everything I had remembered about it, just in case I would forget. I got out of bed several times that night, hoping to see it just one more time, but in my mind I convinced myself that whatever I saw, I would never see again. I had made taste of the UFO and sent it to our children. The reaction was disappointing. 2 would not talk about it. 1 humored me, but asked me never to show it to their children. Avoided girl ages 9 and 12 for fear of frightening them. My oldest daughter did not want to talk about it. Ginger, the daughter that lived closest to me, was very excited about it. Was upset that I didn't call her right away so she could see it too. Her children's ages 5 and 8 were just as excited. They wanted a picture to take to school. They watched the film over and over, with mixed reactions. Ginger, my daughter, and I discussed what I should do and not do with it. I took still pictures off the TV screen, and I had them developed. In the meantime, my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and the tape had to be shelved for a while. My nephew's daughter, Ginny, and Irby were very excited about the film and said that she wanted to do her science project on it. I cautioned her about the consequences of ridicule and could evolve from it, but she talked to her science teacher. They decided to go ahead with it. The science fair was a month away. Ginny is the English 8th grade, and Ginny is in the 8th grade at South Spencer High School. Thursday, February 15th, I got on the internet trying to find out where I could report this. The computer was fairly new to me. I had only been using it for about 2 months. I found the New Fork, which is the National UFO Reporting Center page, and reported the sighting. On Friday, February 14th, I got a call from Peter Davenport. He suggested that I film Venus. I was very sure that I had filmed something besides a star, but I knew nothing about the sort of thing. He told me to go back to the same spot, the same time, and see if that was what I had filmed. On Saturday, February 15th, I mailed a copy to the film to Peter Davenport. The sky that night was so cloudy to see any stars, and would be for a couple more days. So on Monday, February 16th, I called Roger Pinson of NIDS, which is the National Institute for Discovery Science in Las Vegas, and he was interested in the tape. I had mailed him a copy as well. As it was Wednesday, February 18th, before the stars were visible again, I was anxious to prove Peter Davenport wrong. There was the crazy rotating star, just as he said it was. Must be Venus. When I filmed it, my heart sank. Yes, there were more discs, 3 multiple colored ones, more orange, yellow, and red lights, more red and green lights, some almost translucent, then 6 discs. I didn't know Venus looked like this. Disappointed, I stopped filming, thinking that this was Venus, and I filmed nothing special. I've kicked myself ever since for not filming more. I'm never going to look at the tape again, but then the next day my curiosity got the best of me. I stopped washing dishes and went outside. It was a beautiful day. I looked at the grass where the lights had been. Nothing unusual. The bare trees did not look as if they had been disturbed in any way. I took pictures of the landscape from the lawn to the sky. I took several pictures to get a panoramic view of the west side of the house. The first picture I took of the sky was clear. I took another couple of pictures of the grass and trees and another one of the sky. This time there was a wide jet stream type cloud that disappeared within about 2 minutes of taking the first picture. I then saw a spark or reflection of some type of the clouds, thinking that this must be the plane that was the jet stream coming from. I took another picture of the cloud. When I got the film back, in about 2 or 3 days, there appeared to be a cloud inside the cloud, 2 red balls and 2 white balls, and this was getting too bizarre. I tried to forget about it. I finally looked out the window on February 26th. There it was. Venus in all her glory. I was not convinced that this was Venus, thinking maybe the window was distorting the film in some way. I went outside and sat in the concrete block by my bedroom window. This time I did not leave the video on when setting. I zoomed in and out, trying to figure out what in the world this thing could be. At that point I knew this is not an ordinary star. I had filmed other stars the last few nights and they had just sat there. I tried every which way to make them move. I filmed the moon, no action there. Tonight I knew the star was the one. It was different. It had vapor trails coming from the top and bottom and the side of it. It was spinning. The other stars did not spin. Soon appeared to be a cluster of stars. I zoomed in on them and there were more discs. Then I found a red ball that resembled the shape of the first disc, but the flat part was on top of this one and not the bottom. It looked almost like a light instead of a solid object. I realized when I filmed the red, orange, and white lights that they were actually the disc at a distance. Sometimes they were in formation, sometimes they were not. I knew that time, this was a sucker. This was a star, not Venus. Not the sucker that was not Venus. I got a call from Roger Pinson in Las Vegas. he contacted me and he asked me all kinds of questions about the camera. The location, did anyone else see the object, etc. Then Jerry Savers from MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network in Vincennes, Indiana, called me and said that he had just received a call from Peter Davenport. It was to follow up on the tape. Roger Pinson called and said that it was very interesting in the tape and would be alright if he could turn the tape over to Dr. Eric Davis, an astrophysicist, to examine. He said that he had never seen anything like this before. So I took the tape to a local newspaper and then let them view it with the understanding that I did not want anything printed about it. I asked them to notify me if anyone else had seen anything like this. They have. Been very cooperative. They only viewed the first tape. They asked me if they were intended to publish any part of it to let them be the first on my list. Not knowing anything about the universe, the stars, the UFOs, but always open-minded, I can only guess what I have filmed. It looks to me like the surveillance type objects or objects. I can't even guess to what size they were, except for the one time on the first tape. I looked up from the camera to see the disc outside my window. It was pointing to the video where I was. I didn't want to think about this. It was hovering, like a dark shadow appeared about to be 12 feet in diameter. Too thin. It looked to my house any beings of any sort, although I could not really see the depth of it. There is only about 35 or 40 feet between my window and the tree where the disc appeared. After hovering, then to the streak of light went over it, and it went straight up. I had the feeling that it was over the house, but I do not know that. It was after that the bright lights appeared in the yard, but it was not the same as the orange, yellow, and white balls that were in the sky. There were never any sound, but the only time I got ever concerned was when it went outside my window and it just seemed too close for comfort. Since this all happened, I have tried to learn all I can about the UFOs. It was when my husband had stationed in Vienna, Ohio. He was second lieutenant in charge of a small radar station. Like my present husband, he did not believe in anything he could not prove. He was working the midnight shift back to 1951 or 52. He came home white as a sheet. I thought he was very ill. Questioned him about it. He kept saying, "Don't ask me any more questions." Finally, he said he had to talk to someone about it. Then I was never to say anything about it in conversation again. I said, "Would they court-martial him?" He answered. That would be the best thing they could do to me. He then proceeded to tell me about spotting an object on the screen that would not identify itself. After he asked it to identify itself and would not, he had to scramble jet fighters from up from 3 directions. They spotted its vapor trail, and then he witnessed it going straight up on the radar screen, then disappearing. He knew no country had anything like that. He had to make a formal report. I think it was somewhere in Colorado. They took the report, and then they told him that he was never to mention the event again. He died of a heart attack in 1976, and that was the only way I would mention it now. I hope that someone out there will enjoy this tape and get excited about it, as I have. I saw a show on TV the other night where several people had witnessed red and white balls disappearing into an UFO. This is the closest to anything I can think of it to describe what it might be. If anyone has any ideas, I would be welcome to put their ideas. Please email me at mimi@yahoo.com. That is NITAMIMI@yahoo.com. And in March, Jenny also entered the film and pictures in her science projects, the little girl from the story. And all schools in the districts participated. She won second place. There was a lot of positive response from it. So, I mean, I love her story. I love that she kept such detailed records.
I know, she's so thorough with it, and I love it because it's hard to find that nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could bring her energy to her writing the story.
I know.
But
she nailed it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to see, I like how she said it was too close for comfort. There's just some things, that shouldn't be around you, and for her to pick it up and be like, okay, you need to go away, and it kind of just left. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some situational awareness, right?
Yeah. No, that's really cool. It's crazy, how many, people have come forward. about similar experiences.
Yeah. Especially, I think, just being...
Like, I'm talking about, like, in that area
Yeah.
alone. Yeah, no, it's really cool.
For those of you
It
who
just
don't
makes you
know...
wonder, like, even if you don't fully believe it, it's like, are all these people, seeing things? Obviously not. Not everybody is, hallucinating. So something is up there.
Yeah, I mean, let's be frank. No one has discovered everything on the land. No one has discovered everything in the water, and no one's going to discover everything in the air. That's just impossible. There's not enough ways to even get by doing that. And
Yeah, and I mean, hello, the government.
oh yeah,
It's not like they tell us everything, so
I mean, they just came out, with everything, and it's it's kind of nice that they're finally admitting to it, but at the same time, they're not telling us everything, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But I could see why.
It's like throw it all out there,
Yeah, I totally. But I'm glad she was able to take these pictures. These pictures are wonderful. We'll post them on the show and everything.
Yeah, we'll have it up along with the video. These are definitely
not stars. Like, you can tell, it almost like looks like a giant orb. If you didn't know what she was talking, like if you just seen these pictures, it's like an orb, and it's got so much illuminating light. It's insane. It really is insane. I have a picture in front of me right now. It looks kind of like a galaxy. Its own little galaxy. Like, it's super weird. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to what I saw, which we'll get into that here in a second, but I have a witness report that I guess was sent to her. It says, Erwin, and I'm going to butcher this last name, Erwin Sugsetter of Tell City called and said that a man that was the head of Rural Electric Co. wanted to view the tape. When Erwin came over to pick up the tape, I showed him a picture of the object I had taped. He told me that several years ago that two buddies and himself were hunting in Spencer County and had witnessed several colored lights in the sky. Thinking everyone else would be excited to hear their story, the only response they got was people accused them of drinking. I've heard that a time or two about my stories, my paranormal stories.
Yeah, right?
He swore they had nothing to drink and were quite sane and sober. As a result, they very seldom talked about it to anyone. Erwin encouraged me to call Charlie Mogan of Tobinsport. He and his wife were sitting on their porch several years ago. They witnessed a UFO landing at the old dam site there. Sorry to say I never followed up on that, and I am sorry. Erwin died in 2002. I am always trying to find answers or pictures similar to the ones that I filmed. In January 2003, I received an email. On top of this email was an exact picture of what I saw in February of 2001. I emailed him back and asked where he got the photo and what it was. This was his reply. Anita, remember when we spoke and I said the UFO you filmed was exactly like the one in the UK and exactly like the one in the movie Evidence? The case for NASA UFOs. It is exactly like the 66 to 100 objects NASA filmed using its ultraviolet camera, meaning to our unaided eye they were invisible. They are also the so-called motherships that are right out there near Earth, probably all the time. Earl. Several people have come forward and told their experiences, but on a hush-hush mode. It is sad that it has to be this way. And then she sent in a drawing. We'll put this up on the YouTube video as well. It says, Saturday night, February 10th, 2001, this was a silver disc. It was not smooth, it had a flat bottom. There were different symbols all around the edge. There were two lines through the middle. They looked like bars. The middle circle was round and raised with some sort of an emblem on it. I had about 6 seconds where it got close enough that I could see all of the details. I wasn't fast enough to get all the details with the camera. The disc would rotate, move in and out, and there was a bright light coming from it going in 3 and 4 different directions. The light separated into a cluster of mushroom shapes. These shapes floated like garbage bags across the sky. It came closer again and turned back into the silver disc. It turned into a dark disc and floated behind the trees. I filmed this from 9 p.m. to 10:15 p.m., and then it disappeared. And yeah, we'll post this picture, this emblem, up on our YouTube video.
Like, I've heard about, like, it's kind of like hieroglyphics, and it just makes you be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have one more witness report from her. It's from March 16th. There's no date. I had just finished this supper dishes. It was starting to get dark. I could not get this dark thing off my mind. It had been a few days since I had filmed anything. I took the camera and went outside to the west side of the house. As I turned the corner, I was surprised to see a red light that went from the bottom of the hill up high to the sky. It sat at an angle, not straight up or down. The bottom was coming from the west, and the top part was going towards the east, or it could have been the other way around. It was not solid. It was transparent. It looked like it had a red tunnel that you could see inside. It was about 2 feet in diameter. It ran inside and called my. I ran inside and called my UFO friend from Owensboro and explained to him what I was seeing. He told me not to go near it, but to throw something solid inside of it, like a brick, etc., to see what would happen. When I went to outside the tunnel, just separated into several round, transparent red balls and were floating through the thicket and down the hill. Two of them floated high up in the sky. I was excited to get some really good pictures. And I have some pictures of those. And whew, it kind of gives you the chills looking at these.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how to explain it. I really don't know how to explain it. It's like bright red orbs, but you can't they're way bigger because they're taking up most of the screen on the picture. And this last witness report was in June 2001. I was driving home about 3 a.m. I'd been setting up with my sick sister in Rockport. The sky was clear, the moon was bright. I was so tired I could hardly drive. I topped the hill there at home, and all at once I looked over to my left over the Ohio River. There they were, three of them, big as full moons. My chance of a lifetime to get a great picture. So what? No one would believe me. I waved to them, blew them a kiss, and drove into the garage and headed to the bedroom. I would love to know what they were thinking. And it's sad that people. I mean, I get it. If you do take a picture, if you do have proof in some way, someone's gonna shame you into thinking like, okay, well, that's probably fake.
Yeah, like, oh, it's photoshopped, or that it's something else.
But all of this is also happening around the Ohio River, and I think that's really, really cool. Honestly, you hear nothing but like how water has so much energy, and I think, if I was a UFO, I'd want to be around water. It does. It does contain. Yeah. It contains memory. Like,
yeah. Well, and you got to think all of the farmland that's out there. Yeah. So it makes sense.
It's a great place to hide. It's a great place for cover. It's got multiple ways of doing things out there, and the people. Like, how often do you see people running around, especially in like those counties? Those counties are pretty desolate.
Yeah, I mean, whether you believe in them or not, if they are out there, obviously they're not going to be going to big cities and being like, oh, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I think it's.
I mean, yeah, they might pass through it, but it's not going to be. Yeah, as frequent as probably what people out in the country see.
Oh, yeah. Well, also you gotta think.
In the open skies.
Well, you also gotta think. I think there's like different lifestyles at that point too. City people are usually more on their phone, keeping their head down. They're not really like
busy. Yeah,
it's a busy.
Out in the country, it's like you can enjoy nature a little bit more, and like I said, like there's not as much pollution and different things like from factories, etc. So like the stars alone. I mean, just the stars alone, you can see better out in the country.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes sense and correlates with that.
Yeah. I just haven't heard that many light descriptions. It's neat that it was like changing different colors, like a disco ball almost. Like I just that astounds me. And so from other than her story, I know that you have a couple of UFO stories, and I got to hear it the first time, but I'm excited to hear it again.
Yeah. So, there's a fly. So, me and Brandon, we were on the couch. It was really late at night, and we were watching TV. Well, I was watching TV. He was asleep, pretending to watch TV. And I would, like, nudge him, and he would wake up. He'd be like, oh, I'm awake. Like, yeah, okay. Well, then we hear the house like start to shake, and it sounded like an airplane. So we go running outside because like the way that the house was shaking and how loud it was, we knew that it had to be down low, right? Well, we go outside, and there is a military helicopter, is what it looked like. And then behind it was this green light, and it was zigzagging around in the sky. And then there was another light behind it. I don't remember what color that one was. I think Brandon would remember, but there was one behind it, and then behind that one was another military helicopter. And we were like, okay, what's going on? These two lights, they're like zigzagging back and forth. And we're like, what the fuck? And I'm such a like live in the moment type of person. And so, and I didn't want to miss what we were seeing with our eyes by running back into the house and grabbing my phone. So I didn't get any pictures of it or any videos, nothing. Brandon didn't either, because neither one of us wanted to go back in the house and miss, what was happening right in front of us. But I kind of wish I would have, because it lasted for quite a while. I definitely could have ran inside and got my phone and snapped some pictures, but I think there was several people on Facebook that same night that were like talking about it.
And doesn't surprise me,
Right, small town, yeah. Like everyone was talking about it, because I mean it shook the fucking house. Like at first I was like, okay, maybe it's an earthquake, and then I realized that it was some kind of aircraft, and they weren't down as low as you would think for the way that the house shook. So that was another thing that kind of like creeped me out. But yeah, they were just zigzagging around. The way that they were shooting across the sky. It was not a normal aircraft.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. It like doesn't, like I said, this doesn't surprise me at all. Like none of this surprises me. Because also we're living now close to Fort Knox, and
yeah, like 100%. I know that there were two military helicopters. I'm talking about the zigzagging lights that were going in between them. I was like, okay, I've never seen that before. And it wasn't even flying like a normal, aircraft. It was really weird. Like the pattern that it was going was like something that I've never seen before. And then, yeah, like I said, the one that I saw was green. And I think the one that Brandon saw was white. It was either white or blue. I can't remember. But I know people on Facebook, I think they were saying like something similar to that description.
Yeah, it's just...
I would say this was about a year ago as well. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah.
Like I said, the military or escorting something that is unnatural.
That's exactly what it looked like.
But you're hearing the stories so much more nowadays about, okay, well, there was something, like, on the story she shared with us, there was something on the radar, and all of a sudden they scramble these jet fighters to go out there, and they, A, can't catch it, or B, all of a sudden they're escorting it. And you hear those time and time again. A, it just got away from them, B, they're escorting it. And it's becoming like, okay, so what kind of deals do we have going on with whatever terrestrials are out there?
Yep.
Because then you also hear about different kinds. The little green ones, the little gray ones, the tall grays, all
See, that's one thing that I didn't know. When we recorded this episode the first time around, Mallory had mentioned that, and I had no idea that that was a thing.
Yeah.
That there were different colors and different attitudes for different colors. Like, I had no idea.
Supposedly. Like I said, I know there's probably, like, I guess, everyone's different, so I can see that as either a personal thing, but from what I'm listening to and or reading, it's kind of like, okay, so there's some that seem to be more aggressive than others, just like the Bigfoot types. There's supposed to be some that are more aggressive than others, and then certain spots are more aggressive, that kind of thing, and I'm just like, I get it, but also everyone has their bad day, so...
Yeah, and you gotta think, too, like, I know, for someone that has no interest in believing in any of this, we sound crazy, whatever, but what are the odds that we hear so many stories from, like, old farmers that are traditional, that don't believe in, like, ghosts and things like that? What are the odds that all of a sudden they're just going to start making up these stories? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they don't share these stories until they're on their deathbed.
That too, yeah.
That's sad that people are keeping this in and keeping these stories in until, okay, I'm about to go, let me leave you with this nonsense, and then you can pick up the pieces. And that kind of, I'm like, I need questions. questions. I need to answer
Exactly.
my
So if there's
questions.
anyone out there that is holding in a story because you don't want to sound crazy, you can come on the show and you can be anonymous. I mean, of course, your voice, will be present if you want to come on the show, or you can email us and you can stay anonymous. You can text us. We can set up a phone interview, and we don't have to give away any details about who you are, where you're from. That's all up to you. But we would love to hear it because we don't want people to wait till they're about to die and then be like, oh hey, I saw this and I just had to get it out. Like, that's sad. We don't want that.
Yeah, like I said,
This is no
open,
judgment.
Open mic. We're here just to hear your stories, even if it sounds ludicrous. Like we feel like we
Yes,
sound ludicrous.
we are Planet Fitness in this bitch. Okay, no judgment zone.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I like it. Like it.
This is what happens when I drink before we do this.
Also, after we're posting this, November 18th and 19th is CryptiCon here in Lexington, Kentucky, and we're super excited to be able to go. Hopefully you guys who do love this kind of stuff hear about it now, maybe get to go next year, or, look at their webpage and see if you get in touch with some of these people and, go from there. Because,
I'm so excited for that.
Out there.
I honestly have no idea what to expect.
Me?
Like, what do I wear? What do I do with my hands? Like, I don't know what to expect, but I'm super excited.
And for those of you, like, I've been to a couple of these things. It's just normal people. I mean, It's like a mall crowd. You got every
You just walk around to different booths and vendors and things.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, they have more, like, cryptid and, like, paranormal. Like, it's more stuff, like, if you're interested in this stuff, they have, like, knickknacks for that, or they have art for that, or they have t-shirts. You get to meet people that, like, okay, Expedition Bigfoot, you get to meet those people, or
a bunch of like-minded people, together. Okay, I got you.
Meldrum.
Because I've never been to any type of thing like this.
Yeah.
I don't think, not that I can remember.
I went for my first time this year, and it was really fun. I had a good time, and you can, like, openly talk to people about this. And there's different kinds of judgment within the community, but I think that's based because no one knows what's going on, and I think it's
more so different opinions, probably.
Yes, basically, and honestly, no one should be frazzled by that because no one knows what's going on. So it's one of those things where, hey, let it out, and if someone says anything, like, they don't know just as much as you
I mean,
know.
These topics are not, black and white. There's no, like, I mean, there are some factual things, but I guess people could argue that too, saying, oh, it's fake, I mean, I don't know. You can't take anything too seriously in life,
There's always an argument.
The government's always going to hide stuff. I mean, it is what it is. If you choose to 100% not believe in this kind of stuff, good for you. You do you. But I think that these topics are not black and white because there's a lot. I mean, that's why they call it the unknown, because it's literally unknown besides what you experience, stories that you hear, and the little bits and pieces that the government does let out. But other than that, I mean, you don't have anything else to go off of. So.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll meet some great people and hear some more stories. But please get a hold of us and let us know if there's anything we could do to even if you just want to get it off your chest, and we don't have to share it with the world, just send it to us and we will.
Yeah, if you don't want it on the episode, that is completely fine. If you just want to talk to somebody about it,
or we can make a witness report or whatever you want.
Like,
we're here if you just want to document it somewhere for a safe space and just need it written down just so you can get it out of your system. Please do it. It's no biggie.
Yes, and Mimi, thank you so much for mailing this in. Like, it's crazy how thorough this is, and like, you can just sit back and listen to this and picture in your mind exactly what Mimi saw. Yeah. Like, that's wild how detailed it was, and we appreciate it so much. She mailed it in within like a day of us starting this podcast. Like, she was on it. And so we thank you so much for letting us share this. And, if anybody has any other stories they want to share, feel free.
Or get us in touch with people who might. Please, let them listen to our podcast. Find us on YouTube, our webpage, Insta, whatever.
And we are going to start traveling soon. Probably after the first of the year, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe before then, I don't know. Throw us, anything our way, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, probably after the first of the year, we'll start traveling.
But hey, if you have a sighting of something and it happens within the next month, please.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we'll come.
You never know. You never know.
We'll come out there. We're no biggie.
Yep.
We love our families, but we'll drop them for a second, just for a second though.
Oh God.
We're trying to find answers.
Yeah.
We're trying to be a positive solution to this.
And Mama's got to get a break.
Yeah. Mamas need a break. We need to weird out for a second.
Yes.
This is what that's about.
We need our independence,
Yeah.
Doing something that we've loved, almost our whole lives, if not our whole lives.
Yes.
I feel like as far back as Mom buying us those fairy books and spell books and paranormal books. I don't know.
Yeah. It's been a long road of trying to figure out what this all means, but at the same time, it's just a long road just to be like, hey, what do you guys say about it?
Yeah.
That's all. I don't know. I'm fine with
we had each other. We had each other. That was about it. And so now hearing people's stories, it's it opens your eyes.
Yeah. I'm just so excited we can do this, and please let us know if you have anything else, and hopefully hear from you soon, and we wish you the happiest of days.
Yes, please follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and our Instagram. And you can also find us on Spotify as well. We should have all of that linked in our bios. So check it out.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you for listening.
See you next time.
Bye.